Hi lovelies, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're returning. Today I thought I would do a slightly overdue now VR to Chanel over at Chanel Days. She used to be Spirited Stardust, but she's just changed the name of her channel. Now she put out a really lovely end of year tarot tag, which I have been meaning to do, but doing 12 days of Yule I never got around to it, so I'm doing it now. So that's what we're doing today. I'm going to share with you some of the key decks of my year of 2023 to answer Chanel's questions. So the first prompt is the deck that you used the most, and I've chosen one tarot and one oracle, and looking back, I don't know as 2023 was as tarot practice heavy as it normally is. I think we're in such a state of change here that I think real life kind of has got in the way. However, there were moments when I did use tarot quite extensively. One of those moments being across the summer when me and Thea over at Garden Goddess Tarot, we did the Garden Arcana series, and for that I spent a lot of time out in the garden wandering around and working and taking my herb crafters tarot out there to try and find tarot archetypes and energies within my garden. So this deck was new to me in 2023 and I really loved working with it. Every time I look at this now on the shelf, it just reminds me of those summer days and garden plans. Of course, spring is just around the corner with seed planting and the busyness of spring for the gardener. I have worked a little bit out there trying not to close the garden down quite as much as I normally do. We had a little bit of snow this morning, but apart from that, we've had a very mild winter here in England, so hopefully I'll be able to get out there before spring hits and really do a tidy up. But this, the Herb Crafters Tarot, it was out in constant use for a good 7 or 8 weeks and I really loved it. I still need to carry on getting to know it. It is one of those decks where working with plants and the study of plants and the study of this deck can kind of go hand in hand. So just working and exploring this deck, I think it could take you a lifetime. So I'm looking forward to working with this one again really deeply in 2024. So that's the deck I use, that's the tarot I use the most. The oracle, this will be no surprise to anybody if you have been around in 2023. This is Andy Taylor's Feel Your Chakras Oracle. So this, again, it's funny that I should talk about Garden Arcana because this one came to me when I was doing the garden, when I was painting my white picket fence. The original deck that I ordered, which was the little mini sticker one, arrived in the middle of painting my white picket fence, and which was such a special moment of 2023. So this is actually the deck that Andy sent me as a Christmas present. So I am loving having a different version with all of these flowers on the back, so it's just lovely. So I'm really looking forward to working with this version of the Feel Your Chakras Oracle in 2024. So those are my most used tarot and oracle. Prompt 2 is a deck that you didn't even use at all. So I have one still in the plastic, my Stranger Things tarot. It's not been opened because I said I wouldn't open it until I'd finished watching the last couple of seasons, and I keep forgetting that I'm in the middle of watching this. I think I watched the first 2 seasons or the first season, not sure how many seasons there are. I think it was the first 2 and adored it, and then completely got out of the habit again of watching TV. I kind of forget that I've got the TV there, to be honest. So this is definitely one that when I've finished watching it, I'm going to open it, so hopefully this year. But there is another one that's open that I can show you the cards of that I also didn't use at all, which is the Joe Sparrow Tarot, which is an indie deck on Etsy. He is a UK creator, and I saw this, I think this was on Marine's channel, The Waves of Your Soul. I'm sure I saw it on Marine's channel. So those are the backs. And I just loved the way that some of the card meanings are depicted. I think it is an incredibly clever deck, I really do. But there was one particular card that made me want this deck. I had been looking into witchcraft and boundary work and how to ensure that my house is protected from toxic people. And one of the spells I came across was to smear a frog's innards on your doorstep. Now, the morning I read that, I then took the dogs for a walk, and when I got out of the car, there was a completely squashed frog on the car park, and the synchronicity of it was unbelievable. This card, the 10 of Swords, is a squashed frog with its innards showing. I just thought rather than a real frog, having this card in the house would do it, and this is the card that sold me on the deck, and those are the circumstances that sold me on buying the deck. However, I just haven't got around to using it yet, not because I don't want to, not because I don't love it, because I do. It's just that I have a lot of decks, so it just isn't one that's been used this year at all. So that's the Joe Sparrow Tarot. Prompt number 3 is your most recent addition. This is very recent. It's not even open yet. You would think with decks on my shelf like the Joe Sparrow Tarot that I've not used yet, I wouldn't still be buying decks, but that isn't how it works for me, at least. Now, I've wanted this. Oh my gosh, I've wanted this deck for so long. Look, I'm opening it as I'm speaking. It has my all-time favourite Chariot card in. And every time I see it on YouTube, this deck, I absolutely fall in love with it a little bit more every time. And it just suddenly dawned on me, I don't want to go into another year without it. So these are the backs. I don't think I'd even realised what the backs were like. So this is Tarot of the Magical Forest. Did I even say what it was? And oh my gosh, it's just so lovely. Look at this. I know that you will have seen this before. Let me get through this up to the Chariot to show you the Chariot card. I love this deck. I just don't know why it's taken me so long to get it. Look at this. It's just so, it's so cute, and yet it's beyond cute. It's not just sickly cute. It is just so brilliantly done. It depicts the tarot card meaning so well. This is the card I love. Look at the Chariot card. Just that feeling of movement and the wide-eyed, oh my gosh, can I hold on to this chariot? And like everybody's got wide eyes, the speed and the movement and the need to concentrate and to steer and to not let go of those reins. It's all there. So that's what I mean by it's not just cutesy cute. It is, oh, look at that. It's one of these decks where it really does embody the meaning of the card. So that is the Tarot of the Magical Forest, my most very recent, in fact this week, acquisition. So prompt number 4 is a deck you rehomed or put into Purgatory. Now, I tend not to rehome decks only because I know that once they've gone I always regret it, but this is one that I have put into Purgatory, and it's the well-being cards. Now, I recently did a video about these, about the fact that I was struggling with a lot of the cards in here, These are the cards that I was struggling with. So there is a whole video on that, which did upset some people. My intention is never to upset people on my channel. So if you have done lots of work using Esther and Jerry Hicks's philosophies and that idea of attracting, you put out what you attract back, then the intent is not to diss that work. It's just, for me, having not done that work, the messages in the deck have grated. I have had some people message saying that the teachings of Abraham and Esther and Jerry Hicks's work is some of the most profound work they've done, and that is wonderful. But for me, messages like I am not here to fix anything, I'm here for fun, it doesn't sit well with my philosophy of life. In fact, it pokes at me more than I feel supported by it, in not a good way. A lot of these cards though are beautiful, but I just don't know whether I can get behind the deck as a whole yet, just because of some of the messages, especially the messages around healing physical illnesses. I don't think that you can think those away. So, one in Purgatory. Prompt number 5 is my favourite pairing of the year. I had a new bonded pair happen in 2023. I call bonded pairs the decks that they go so incredibly well together that they almost have to then work together. I can't imagine them not together. And my bonded pair for 2023 was the Rose Alchemy Oracle with Thea's Hellenic Oracle, which is this one based on Greek mythology, and these curated images that Thea's put together. These just work so beautifully with the Rose Oracle. So if I show you, I have got it continually out on my desk actually. Look, here it is on my desk. So my favourite mod or bag made or accessory in 2023, well, I've never made a tarot bag, which I would like to have changed in 2024, because I mean, I have a degree in constructed textiles. I used to make crochet sculpture, so you would think I would be able to crochet some tarot bags. However, I did share this in my last video. I did get sent this glorious tarot bag from Krista, so that is a really treasured favourite. But as far as accessories go, I think it has to be my altars and things on my altars. So on this altar, you can see I've got my week ahead spread out, and you can see the stags at the back. Those are actually photograph holders or place name holders that a local supermarket had out with their Christmas stuff, and it all went half price. So I grabbed the last 4 for tarot card holders, and they have been absolutely fantastic. So I've loved getting those this year. And then my other accessory is this huge Enchantimals and Monster High and different kind of doll altar. Now this for a while was in my doll room, but I missed it so much I brought it back into my bedroom space for me to build different stories and to use different decks on in different places. It's almost like the story told on this altar becomes like a spread position. So it's just a really interesting way of doing physical spreads where you can tell a story and then pull the cards for the different positions of the story, and then you can rechange the story just like rechanging your spread, and then pull different cards for the different positions. And I've really loved using that this year. So prompt number 7 is, what deck do you want for Christmas? Well, in my last video I did share some of my Christmas gifts, and this is a gift that I bought myself. I managed to pick this up from a UK seller who was selling it secondhand. This is the Mysteries of Mary tarot deck, which I had wanted for such a long time. So I treated myself to quite a few tarot decks at Christmas, which I shared in the last video. 3 unicorn decks I managed to find for Christmas and my birthday combined. My birthday is the end of November, so it all kind of comes together. Next Christmas, see, I saved through the year for like out of print decks or indie decks. I save for next year. I really like the home, is it the Home Oracle? I know Krista shares that one quite a bit on her channel, and every time I see it I love it, so that one might go on the list for next year, the Home Oracle. So point number 8 is, what deck would you gift to other people? Well, to be honest, I'd gift any deck to other people because I just think they're all just so lovely. But the deck that I did gift in 2023 twice to other people is the Rose Alchemy deck. Not only is it UK based, so it's easier for me to get hold of and post to people. However, having said that, UK postage now out overseas is unbelievable. But this is just such a treasure. It is such a treasure of an oracle. I really love it. Now, I gifted 1 copy to Thea. I really wanted to send her this as a thank you for doing Garden Arcana with me. It just seemed really apt for my garden full of English roses to send her this deck. I just really wanted to send it to her, and then she in turn sent me back the Hellenic Oracle, which was not required at all, but it's just lovely, that exchange of energy that we had as friends through 2023. It was lovely. And then another deck that suddenly came for me in, was it last year or was it the year before now? Meg over at Rose Honey Ritual, the wonderful Meg, she sent me the tarot as colour, which I couldn't believe. And and again, it's not, I'll send you this, you send me something back. It wasn't that at all. But to get such a wonderful gift unexpectedly through the post, my mama bear couldn't just leave it at that, because all of these youngsters in the tarot community, I feel it like mama bear about. I don't want gifts off them if I can't do something lovely back. So I knew that Meg really had her eye on this for ages, so I also bought a deck and sent it to Meg as well, which is just an absolute pleasure to do. I honestly wish I had more funds to do that more often, so hopefully in 2024 I can find a way to do more gifting. That's really something that I would love to be able to do. It's on my mind for 2024, so it's a goodie to get the Rose Alchemy through the post. It is a goodie. Prompt number 9 is the deck that you fell in love with in 2023. I have to say, a deck that I already had, which wasn't new to me, but that I used more and fell in love with, was my Barbara Walker Tarot in a tin. And if you have watched any of my videos, you may have seen me taking this little beauty out on soul story adventures. So going to haunted places, going to places where the energy calls me, and just pulling tarot cards to see if there are any souls there wanting to tell their story. And it was just a wonderful adventure during the year, which I'm definitely continuing this year. And this is the deck that I used for all of them, and it just was wonderful. There's so much to use in this deck. Not only have you got quite evocative imagery, but you've also got keywords as well. So all of those things combined with the tarot meaning and the energy of the card, I think these images are very energy filled. It's a lot of possibilities for any soul story to come through. There's a lot to draw on, so I really did fall in love with my Barbara Walker tarot. So prompt number 10 is, which card sums up this year as a whole for you? So 2023, and the image of one card came into my mind, because it was a temperance year, but it isn't really the temperance energy that sums up the year. It is more the energy found within the Justice card of the Somnia Tarot. Now, when I look at this Justice card, I always see this lone figure, and they look like they're on the docks holding onto a rope. I always imagine a boat or ship at the other end of that rope, and the sword is being raised to cut through the anchor and to let go. And for me, I think 2023 felt very much like that idea of coming to terms with the justice of things and being in a quite cold and stark and lonely place, but being ready to bring that sword down and to feel the justice of cutting those ropes. And it was a tricky year. It has felt like a lonely year as well, but it has felt like a year where I've finally come to terms with the justice of cutting ropes. So it kind of really does sum up the year for me. And staying with the Somnia, it's funny because that card was literally out in a reading that I've been doing right next to me on my desk. So I'm going to put these cards back in the deck, because it says pull a card for the new year is prompt 11. So what I'm going to do, I have been working with Into the Lonely Woods and the Somnia together. This is another pairing that I found in 23, which on the face of it wouldn't seem to work, but I think from what I've just said, that kind of stark and cold and lonely place, the energy and the feel of the images in this deck works very much with that idea of loneliness, which can be worked through with this deck. So these two for me energetically just are everything at the minute. So I am going to pull a card from each deck for 2024. I'm going to pull a tarot card and an oracle card. So I pulled Judgment, which is such a nice follow on from the Justice card. That idea of leaving the dark harbour and climbing the ladder to something new. So that just seemed like an amazing card pull for the coming year, and I pulled it with card 39. This is an Is It Lonelier at Night? Now firstly, you can see that visually these decks do actually work together, even though you might think that they don't, but the message is just incredible. The message of an Is It Lonelier at Night is a card that asks you to stop looking for others to fill the void, to stop looking for others to fill your daytime and your nighttime, but to look to yourself, to venture out to the dark places and to find life within those dark places, to fill yourself up with self-love and your own company first, so that when you then are around other people, you have amazing things to bring with you. This creature here is in his own nighttime space and has made friendships with all the owls. He is bringing a whole flock of owls with him. So those two cards really do work energetically together. Let me read you from the guidebook. It says, The dawn will come, but let the night's peculiar light illuminate the wild world which resides within you. When you do this, what was once unseen will reveal itself and share the road with you a while. Others are not our saviours, nor is their role to fill the space and silence of night or of day. We must do this first by entering the void of night and bringing it to life. An amazing message to sit along the message of rebirth of the judgment card. So love those for the coming year. So that's it, guys. That's all 11 prompts. Thank you, Chanel, for this. I will link Chanel's channel. I also got re-prompted to do this by watching Carrie over at A Crone's Life, which is a new channel to me. I've loved discovering that, so I'll link Carrie's channel as well below and her VR response. So thanks, guys, so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.